Hello and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. I am Steve Boshear and I will be your game master for the evening. We are playing tonight Symbaroum, which is how I believe it's pronounced. And I watched several YouTube videos from people who pronounced it that way, so that's what we're doing. Okay, we got two players tonight.
I'm doing it right now.
We're getting started with the cat fighting early.
Yes. Sorry.
No
I heard
worries.
stuff in the kitchen getting knocked around.
No worries. That's what they're for. All right.
Yes.
So this game is a very interesting. Oh, hey, Kenny's in the chat. Welcome. This game is a very interesting little moody sort of D20 system, kind of Germanic, Nordic inspired, full of haunted, well, one enormous haunted forests and lots of dark, moody, misty setting. Why don't we go around and introduce ourselves and our characters, starting with Mia?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me back, Steve. I will be playing Corona. She is a barbarian witch, roughly maybe like 5'6". Not real strong, kind of scrawny, but she's got frizzed hair with twigs and bones woven in with the braids, along with some beads. She's wearing a cloak made of black bear fur, with the forepaws still attached, so there's some claws on the end of that. She carries a dagger hidden inside her cloak. She has a quarterstaff that is a gnarled stick with some small animal bones and beads tied to the top. Around her neck, she wears a necklace with bear's teeth and a small pouch that is clutched into the dried remains of a hawkfoot. And she, again, is a barbarian witch with some interesting powers we will review shortly. So, thank you. Reveal.
I'm playing Meldia, a changeling duelist and bodyguard. Meldia, they are a middling height build, kind of wiry, not super strong, but definitely very good at sticking people with sharp things. We always try and keep our cool wooden demonic mask on because we're a changeling, so we're a person apart from normal people or normal humans. We were raised by humans, but upon the revelation that we were a changeling, a fey being that was transponded into a human's household, we were cast out, where we picked up on the streets the fine art of, as stated previously, sticking people with sharp things real good. But Meldia does keep a keepsake from their childhood, a little wooden, vaguely animal-shaped trinket on a short tether on their sword hilt. And yeah, that's mostly us.
Right. My name is Yuri. I am playing Shiny, the Ogre Hunter. Shortly after walking out of the forest of Davokar with amnesia, I was press ganged by some dwarves or goblins, who can really tell, to be grunt labor in the mines. Unfortunately, they suffered, was it a cave-in or a landslide? Not quite sure, but I inherited their appetite for treasure. And I carry a war axe, two-handed war axe, and a whip, of course. And I'm about 7 to 8 feet tall, and my armor is a bit patchwork. None of the little people's clothes could fit me, so they're just kind of scrabbled and sewn together. And I don't know too much about my past or where I came from, but I just really like shiny objects.
And well, you should. To sort of give everyone a sense of the setting here, let me bring up the map of Davokar. So Davokar is the name of this gigantic forest over here. It is the site of the ancient fallen kingdom of Symbaroum, which fell countless years ago, likely due to its own flirtation with dark and evil powers. Nobody knows for sure what happened, but the forest now is dotted with ruins from Symbaroum, dark, corrupted powers, and it's just not a pleasant place to be. The further north you go, the more trouble you're going to have. Now, in the time in which the game is set, we are about 20 years into the occupation of the southern area of this map. There was a powerful empire down to the south of the Titans mountain range. I'm trying to remember the name. It's like Alberator. Alberator fell. It didn't fall. They were in a war with some dark mages, and they won. Actually, they overthrew the Dark Lords and saved their people at great cost. And part of that great cost was that their land was corrupted with evil magic and no longer livable. So their queen decided to bring the entire nation's remaining people north and conquer this area here. They built a new capital city for themselves here in Indaros, conquering the barbarian tribes that dominated the region. The new country is called Ambria, and all of the humans in this whole area are either going to be Ambrian citizens, or they're going to be members of a barbarian tribe that was here before. So Corona is the latter. Meldea, I believe you're a changeling, of course, but raised
yeah, but
by
I could
humans.
have been originally thought of as one of these city folk colonizers.
All right. So this is a very recent development. We are 20 years into the occupation of this area by the new fledgling nation of Ambria. And Shiny, of course, as an ogre, ogres are a very mysterious people who wander out of the forest with no memories at all. Nobody knows where they came from, including themselves. It is likely that they are people who were corrupted by the dark magics of Davokar Forest. So, this is where we are in the world, and this is where you guys seek your fortunes as a band of treasure hunters, mercenaries, whatever it is that you guys do. You have banded together for money, and maybe you're fleeing, maybe you're seeking riches, maybe you're seeking combat for its own sake. You guys can decide your reasons. But whatever your reasons, you are traveling. You are leaving the town of Thistlehold, right here. And you are heading west along the long road. Your destination is, I think you are headed over to Jakar eventually, but it's a long way to get there. And you are traveling in the company of a small group of royal soldiers of the Narugor division. There's 3 of them, matching uniforms patterned in the red and yellow livery of their band. Their leader is a Sergeant Holland, who, as you travel, takes great pleasure in poking fun at the 2 unfortunate privates who travel with him. They are Gimenez and Donmar. You gather from their manner and things that are said and things that remain unsaid that the assignment he is taking them to is probably some sort of penal duty. Gimenez seems to have recently been demoted from the rank of sergeant for some infraction. You do not know what. And this assignment may be part of his punishment. Donmar, on the other hand, appears to be fresh out of training and not incredibly bright. He chatters on about his numerous superstitions everywhere you go. So Holland, the sergeant, is just talking and talking, telling tales of his time as a watchman, trying to basically get a rise out of these guys just for yucks. As you travel along the path, you're going to pass several of the watchtowers that guard the southern borders of the forest from the slightly more civilized areas to the south. Every now and then a watchman patrolling or a messenger relaying something between the towers. So is there anything you guys would like to do or discuss or tell me as you are traveling?
We're just traveling with this group of party, or the soldiers?
Yes. You're traveling in company because that is the safe way to do these things.
I am not particularly fond of the soldiers having, they are encroaching on the lands of the barbarians. So I am not particularly fond. And when he's giving the Donmer, you said, a hard time, it's like, I don't like the way that he's treating that new recruit. He deserves better. These soldiers are rude. Encroaches upon my land, upon our lands.
To whom are you saying that?
To my fellow party members, Shiny and Meldia.
Well, Shiny, as Corona is saying that to you, you notice that you are passing south of one of the many watchtowers along the forest, and not for the first time today, when passing a watchtower, you spot a sort of gray, cowled figure tending the post atop the watchtower. They're always wearing gray, and they're just, you can't say why, but there's just something about them that kind of makes the back of your head tingle.
Guys, my ogre senses are tingling. Can I roll for, oh gosh, not insight, but
if you would attempt to examine them from afar, I'll tell you they're too distant to see anything more than I've already described.
So, do any of my other party members or the soldiers notice these gray hooded figures?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you roll vigilant against your soldiery companions here?
Okay. I rolled an 11.
That is gonna do it for now. What you notice is about Holland in particular, the sergeant, is that he very studiously avoids looking at the tops of these watchtowers when you pass them. You never see him look that direction.
Suspicious. Or mysterious.
Now, you do know, as I've said, these are soldiers and those are watchtowers. So, it's within their purview to know what goes on there.
I am going to ask the sergeant, hey, who are those gray figures on the watchtowers?
He looks uncomfortable when you ask him that question. But eventually, he realizes that he can't just not answer you. He says, those are the Sleepless. They sit at the beacons every day and every night, watching for creatures and beasts and things coming out of the forest. They're the Duke's. And he kind of trails off there, actually.
Do they have shiny things?
Roll persuasive.
Just to be clear, I'm rolling a d20, right?
You are rolling a d20, and you are trying to get under your own persuasive score, which is 7.
I rolled a 1.
All right. That's good. That's good in this game. So, yeah, you probably give him a little ogre-y scowl or lip curl as you ask if there's anything shiny.
Any shiny things?
Yeah, you made him uncomfortable enough that he is going to continue. I'm sure that you have heard of the sickness that has been sweeping Ambria. It came from the war, from the dark things the mages unleashed in the south. Men who would die and then rise again, and die and rise again and again, until there was nothing but crushed bones and butchered flesh, and still they would rise. For a while we thought that the disease had stayed in the old country, but soon we realized that wasn't the case. People were clawing themselves out of their graves or their death shrouds. The church condemns them, but the Duke needs people. And these Sleepless, they still have their minds. They are driven out of towns and cities, but they will work for the Duke. He employs them to garrison 160 towers, which would have been empty if not for them.
So no shiny.
Plenty of sores and oozing, but no shiny.
Shiny just shrugs. Uninterested.
Imagine someone who could serve day and night in all weather, no regard for food or water or sleep. That's the Duke's solution. They get amnesty in exchange for their service.
As we're marching, I will stop occasionally and try and find an old rotted log to crack open and peel out any larval beings, whether it be larval worms or flies. Also scrounging and picking up small twigs and seeds from the ground as we progress on our march.
Yeah, Meldea is mostly just keeping an eye on everything, and or at least attempting to keep an eye on everything, danger-wise.
Okay. Roll me a vigilant check, Meldea.
What does it say? So I got a 5 versus, you said vigilant?
Yes.
I got a vigilant of 10.
Well, you succeeded rightly. You are the first to see as several animals come darting out of the mist and across the road, heading south away from the forest. Not long thereafter, a thick fog comes rolling in from the same direction. You are no longer able to see the nearest towers, and you can do nothing but try to stay on the road. It's soupy, and it starts winding its way into your clothes and your armor. You all start to feel chilled to the bone, and there's something moving in the fog ahead.
Define moving.
You
Like, is
can't.
it moving with
I'm sorry, go
with
ahead.
us? Is it something moving like with us or towards us?
You cannot tell yet. It's not moving like. It's not moving laterally to you. It
Okay.
seems to just be moving in place, as it were.
Okay.
But as you progress a little bit, you do realize what it is. It is a gigantic beast called an abor, which is a boar with an A in front of it. Thank you, fantasy everything. So
What? It's a boar.
it's a
That
boar.
makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
a boar.
There's a picture of one in the slideshow. It'll come up at some point.
That
But yeah, so this thing, it's huge, and it stares at you with the gaze of an animal that is far too intelligent. You can tell that there is some sort of ferocious intellect, but also fear. As it sees you, it glances towards the forest and then back to you, almost as though it's evaluating which is its greatest concern. Your horses are frightened by the beast. The soldiers with you begin to dismount and ready their spears.
I put my hand on the hilt of my blade while speaking to it. What brings you here, beast?
The soldiers give you a weird look, and Donmar says, it's an abor. It's an animal.
It can't talk.
It cannot talk.
Oh.
I turn on the soldiers and like, natural beings do communicate amongst themselves. You'd be surprised at how much you could learn from an animal.
Holland, the sergeant, says to you, I have the utmost respect for your barbarian beliefs, but I nonetheless doubt that this creature is going to respond to us. Hey, there he is. He's going to respond to us in words.
Oh, he has shiny forehead.
So while you are discussing whether or not it can talk, the abor determines that you are not about to attack it, and it moves off south away from the road. Once it's out of the way, you hear hoofbeats coming towards you. From the north, from the same direction that the creatures have been running away. At first, Donmar calls out that a wraith is approaching. But as the rider gets closer, you can see a gray hood and cloak sparkling with frost from the fog, which is getting colder and colder. The rider's black leather mask gives them an imposing aura. They identify you and lower their bow, which had been raised towards the Abor, drawing in a laborious breath. You hear a hoarse female voice say, "Well met, Sergeant." To which Holland replies, "Hail, Sleepless. Why have you left your post?" The rider replies, I beg your pardon, Sergeant. I left my tower to seek help. The watchmen of our garrison have fallen very ill. Myself and my second are the only ones who still stand, for this mist seems to sap the breath out of the living. I would warn you against staying out here, and if you can help, I beg that you hasten to our tower to help our watchmen. And you guys notice, in addition to this slow and laborious breath that the Sleepless is using to speak, she also is using a archaic dialect of the Albertorian tongue. None of you have come from the old country, but I'll say that, Meldea, you will have spent some time among people of the first generation of settlers, and you definitely recognize this as an old Albertorian.
That she talks kind of like my grandmother talked.
Yeah, kind of. So, Holland is going to turn to you three and say, I have to get these men to their own post. What have you three to do that you might not help the Sleepless and her companions?
Shiny looks and goes, miss that kills people. Me no go.
But they came from the forest, like the barbarian lands.
Yeah,
Right.
well, she came from the watchtower, which guards the
Watchtower.
forest. Yeah.
Okay. These poor cursed beings. I know not what to do.
Oh,
But if this is
I'm sorry,
the
continue.
danger, if this is the danger, you may need to stop and do something about it. As I look up at Shiny.
I would like a knowledge check. And I don't know. I guess the only ability you guys have that speaks to a knowledge check would be cunning. Corona, let me have that from you, please.
Lovely.
Stir.
I rolled a 14.
Okay. Yeah, you don't know what this is. You're the only one who had a chance, but you didn't. So
I know not what this threat is. We must investigate for the sake of my people.
So the Sleepless addresses Holland again, says, Please, Sergeant. My name is Pallas. My companions will die. They are not sleepless like me. They are living like you, and they are soldiers. You must aid them.
Steve, real quick, you're saying Sleepless?
Yep.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
What did it sound like?
Sleeveless.
Oh.
And I just thought it was a thing.
Yeah, I'm like, push those sleeves up.
Sleepless.
Sleepless, because they neither
Yeah.
sleep nor die.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Sleepless. What do you know from whence this sickness comes to your people? To your charges?
I know not, but it has coincided with the appearance of this bitter cold fog. Are you mystics or medics that might aid them?
I can offer some aid in the area of healing.
I could aid them in passing on.
Me too. I good with my hands.
She does not like the sound of that. It looks
But-
back.
But we're not offering that as a service right now.
The sergeant, the sergeant Holland is going to shudder again, realizing that if you guys don't go, he has to go, and so he's gonna turn back to you guys and he's going to say, "What do they call gold in this game?"
Wait, I got this. It's Faye something or another.
Yeah. It's the name of the
Before
coin.
he
Dollar?
says thing that could work too. I don't know how to pronounce words well.
What?
Shillings and thalers and
Oh yeah, Thellers. Yeah,
or
whatever.
kegs.
Whatever. They're gonna be called gold. He pulls out a small book that he has and flips to a blank page, and presses a seal from his pouch against it, making the mark of an imperial sergeant. Rips the page out of his book and hands it to you and says, "This is good for payment of 25 gold. If you undertake to help our soldiers at the watchtower, you can turn this in when you reach a town, and they will pay you."
Shiny looks at him and goes, "More gold, more shinies."
Meldia will take that note, fold
And
it up.
Shiny grabs it back.
No, you're not. Puts it in their shirt and says, "Shiny, we have shinies now for you. But first we got to do this."
Yes, the note will not be any good unless another officer of the guard stamps it with their stamp indicating completion of the assigned task. Also, I am not permitted to write a script for more than 25, so I can't offer you more than that even if I wanted to.
Shiny crosses his hands, thinks about it, and goes, "Fine." And then he starts marching, and he grabs the Sleepless by the collar and starts marching where he came from.
She's on a horse.
Oh.
Oh,
I pull the reins, and I start marching.
She doesn't let you do that. She's going to control her own horse. But she's very happy that you're coming. Corona and Meldia, I assume you guys are going as well?
Yes. Yeah.
I would suspect that I'd be riding, let's say, with Meldia behind him
Okay.
rather than on my own
Yeah.
horse.
Yeah, Shiny.
If that's okay.
Yeah. You guys can have horses. I was gonna say Shiny might be too big for a horse, but that's up to Yuri.
It would have to be a really big horse, and I don't think Shiny can really afford one. So I'm gonna say it's on my 2 feet because I'm like 8 feet tall.
I always think about the end of The Princess Bride, and when he's gotten the 4 white horses, and then they're all riding away. And when Fezzik is there with the horses, he's dwarfing them, but then at the end somehow he fits on one, and it's just very easy to spot. That is not Andre the Giant. That's a regular ass person. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's
from
only
mine.
because they didn't continue on with it like it did in the book.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm on the wrong page of this adventure. Okay, so
I mean, honestly, I'd be inclined for Meldia to not be riding a horse.
okay.
So on
Like
foot.
they're city folk and they're not really used to riding horses.
Fair enough.
On foot then.
So the Sleepless, who gave her name as Pallas, Pallas, even though no one, none of the soldiers, nor you so far, will call her by her name. She is simply Sleepless. It leads you to her tower. It's quite a journey through the fog to get there, but it's a tall wooden structure sitting atop a small, like, stone building. There's a palisade surrounding it, and inside the circular palisade, there's a stable and a small storehouse. Excuse me, but just inside the circumference of the palisade, there's a low stone wall that looks like it's under construction. It's partway built. There's piles of stones ready to be added to the wall. And then near the foot of the tower, there's a pile of darker stones with kind of a porous appearance. It's this mineral that's unfamiliar to you. It has little dots of like red and purple in it. And that's all you can see of the tower. The fog here is particularly dense. You actually can barely even see the top of the tower from inside the palisade because of how dense the fog is. When you arrive, Pallas leads you inside the tower, and you see there the garrison of 3 living men. And when you arrive, actually, I guess before you get into the tower, one of them comes out holding a torch above his head. His legs look really unsteady. He's too sick to really do anything other than come look at you, but he's coughing, and he says, "Is that you, Sleepless? Did you find help?" What are you guys going to do at this point?
With like my cloak kind of pulled up to protect my breathing, I'm gonna step forward and say, show me the injured. I can try and help.
I hope you are able to do something. He leads you into the tower through the doorway. He gives his name as Segel, and then there are 2 other men inside, Baramar and Godtai. Godtai's on a bed laid out, and Baramar has actually been laid out on the table. They're shivering and gripped by a deep fever. Their skin is all wet with sweat and warm to the touch. The whole room smells like vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are alive. You can tell that by the shivering and the sweating.
So can I try and do a recovery roll on each of them?
Okay.
Or
Isn't recovery is an ability of yours, yeah?
yeah, with a successful die roll against Resolute, the character regains. Actually, it's Medicus.
Oh yeah, Medicus, that's the one. I was going to say recovery. I think works only on yourself.
Only on myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
Medicus is the healing.
Okay. Once per patient and day. I'm gonna not make you roll that. I'm going to say that there is clear. You can tell that this is not an injury or something that you can cure. You maybe can make them a tea, which would have about the effect.
Palliative.
Yeah, like about the efficacy of chicken soup, but there's nothing you can do with just a Medicus roll that's really going to help them in any significant way.
Okay. So I'm gonna reach into my pouch and like scrounge out some herbs and like, here, we shall make a tea with this. This will make you at least tame the vomiting, get your stomach under control.
Yes. Segel has also returned to his own bed. And you notice, Corona, as you are preparing your tea for these men, that Segel is cradling a cloth bundle to his chest as he lies in his bed. Pallas, the Sleepless, well, before I say that, Shiny and Meldea, have you guys entered the tower as well?
I have. I followed Corona a little bit, took one whiff, walked out the room, and started towards that construction pile because he said there was a mineral that we weren't familiar with.
Yes.
And having spent a good amount of time in the mines and caves, I'm very interested
Okay.
in examining the construction pile.
I'll come back to that in a second. Meldea, what are you doing?
I'm sticking with Corona, but I'm keeping I am in this room out of a sense of duty and obligation. This is my friend and companion. My back is as much against this wall and as far away from these sick-ass people as I can get.
Okay. That's fair. However, I remind you that outside isn't great either because of this freezing, clinging fog that's out there.
I'm not going outside.
Okay.
I'm staying here. I'm inside.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep my distance. And I'm not being particularly subtle about my motivation for keeping my distance.
Yeah, they don't care that you're not subtle. They know what they're about right now. So Shiny, you are examining the pile of strange stone. In what manner do you examine it?
I go around and I probably kick up some stones looking for shiny bits and pieces.
Okay.
And trying to identify the material.
Okay. Well, I'll say as you kick at it, you get close enough that even if it's just through a pant leg or something, you are going to touch the stone. And at that point, you realize...
I'm sick.
No, that's not what I was going to say. But you realize it is warm. It's very subtly warm to the touch. You are not able to identify what kind of stone it is. Like I said, it's black, it's porous, and it has red and purple sort of flecks dotted throughout it. For some reason, it is warm of its own accord.
Shiny looks very puzzled at this, but is there like a little chippable place I could like pick up a rock and put in my pocket?
Yeah, if you can, you can probably find a piece of this stone that's small enough to fit in a pouch that you have on you. Sure.
Okay, I'll probably want to ask one of the people who are when they're the more healthier members if they're able, or maybe I'll ask the Sleepless thing what kind of rock this is.
Okay. Yeah, so you take that inside the tower, and are you at this point? everyone is in this lower room of the tower. All three of you, the three sick men, and the sleepless are all here. So who are you going to direct this question at?
Probably the more able one. So I go, hey, you no sleep thing. What be this rock?
Yeah, Pallas looks at the rocks and says, I am unsure. Segel and the others brought these rocks to build the wall. And Segel says, oh, yes, we found them. We found them in the forest. The forest. We thought they would be good in this cold because they are warm to the touch, so we brought them back.
I was like, yes, very warm. Can I keep?
I suppose. And at this point, a bell on the ceiling begins to ring. Yep, you look up and you see there's a rope attached to it. Clearly someone up on top of the tower is pulling the rope to ring the bell. Pallas immediately locks the door and starts making her way up to the top of the tower, leaving with the two words, "Save them." Night is falling, and through the windows of the tower you can see that the courtyard is sort of bathed in a flickering blue sheen as a weird thing descends upon the tower. It's a floating bluish thing that flickers and flutters like a dying flame in the air, and it flies around. It actually enters the tower through one of the small windows and approaches a torch. And the flames of the torch extinguish because of the cold that this frosty light thing is emanating. It's like it's soaked up the heat from the torch.
Is it in the room with us?
It is now in the room. It came in the window.
And do we notice it right away?
Oh, yeah. You guys noticed it before it even got into the room. Yeah. You saw.
How big is this thing?
Somewhat bigger than a candle flame.
Would I recognize this at this time?
You know what? Give me another cunning check, Corona, and we will see if you do.
That would be a no.
Okay.
I need to break out the dice that are in jail. These are the wrong dice for this.
All right.
Meldia's going to draw their weapons, their sword and dagger, but like really unsure as to whether or not they could, like, they'd be any use against whatever this thing is.
All right.
I'm going to throw my rock at it.
Okay. You're throwing a rock at it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are entering combat then. So the way this works is that we initiative order is determined by everyone's quick scores. So let's see. The highest quick score in the party, I think, is Meldia, then Shiny, then Corona. And then, let's see, what is this thing? What is its quick? And then, actually, yeah, so it's going to be Meldia, and then the Frostlight, and then Shiny, and then Corona. So, Shiny, you've thrown a rock, and I'm going to say the first throw just misses, and then we will do combat.
What? I was imagining that it nailed it right at it.
You know what? You're right. That's lame. Let's have you roll it. Go ahead and roll accurate.
Okay. I rolled an 18.
Okay, well, you missed. Okay, so Meldia, Shiny has hurled her weird heat rock at this thing. You do notice, Shiny, as the rock that you threw passes by the frostlight, that it becomes cased in...
Y'all there?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Now?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Internet glitch.
Everything locked up on my end.
Okay. So if we're back, I'll continue. The rock that you throw, as it passes close to this frostlight, a little wisp of it darts out and touches the rock, and the rock becomes covered in frost for a moment, which breaks off of it in a puff as it hits the wall and falls to the ground. So now, Meldia, it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and move between... My instinct is to just try and get in the way of this thing. So I'm just trying to maneuver myself between it and Corona and Shiny.
Okay.
I guess I'm trying to present myself as the biggest threat.
Right.
But I'm not going to actually try and attack it yet.
Well, at this point, it is the Frostlight's turn. You have not moved to attack it, so it's kind of hovering there. However, 4 more of them do come in the windows. There's only 2 windows in the tower. Ooh. They're tiny. They're just enough that the soldiers can look out into their own courtyard. But these Frostlights they're clearly out there. You can see their blue light casting shadows as they zip around, and then they do come inside and they start heading towards any heat source.
Really?
Did we lose you, Jason?
Yeah. For like a second.
Well, there's a total of 5 of these things now.
Yeah.
They are, at this time, not attacking anyone except Segel. They are moving towards him. They've put out the torch and the fire in the fireplace, and now they are converging on Segel.
Well,
can we see anything with the lights gone?
They are casting a light of their own, so yes.
Okay.
Well, I would like to try and bodyguard him.
Okay. However, your turn has passed, so let's do Shiny's turn.
Well, it says I can. It's a reaction.
Oh, that's an ability. I didn't realize that. Okay.
So I can, with a successful resolute, I can take blows directed against an ally. So is he actually taking blows from these things?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if I can interpose myself.
All right.
My resolute is 11. And I got a 3.
Okay. Is there something that's supposed to be modifying that roll on my side?
It just says with a successful resolute, the character may take blows directed against an ally. I am adept at this, though, so my capacity as a guardian allows me to defend myself against all attacks aimed at the person I am protecting.
Okay, so you will roll a defense then, modified by 3, -3.
Oof. Alrighty. Is this? Am I making 5 of these?
No, because you can only get 1. You have as
Okay.
many reactions in a round as you need, as you have triggers, but this would count as the same trigger 5 times. So I actually happened to read that part earlier today. Because it's the same type of trigger, you can only do it once.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can block 1 blow. No.
Okay. Well, you make
that defense roll real bad.
You make a valiant effort to lunge between the Frostlights and Segel.
Well, I was able to get between the Frostlight and Segel, but I beefed my defense roll, so it's going to hit me.
Yeah, and that's going to be 3.
So then I'm rolling my armor.
Yeah, and that's, what is it, 1d6 for your?
D8.
D8 for medium.
Because, well, it's D6 for the medium, but a modified up to D8 for my person at arms ability.
Excellent.
So I got a 7 on that roll.
You have taken no damage. Your armor soaked it.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I have now read the next thing on the stat block. The damage of this the damage of this creature ignores armor.
Oh no!
Yeah. And it is
All right.
damaging your
Thanks
strong
for that, Steve.
stat.
All right.
It is also damaging your strong stat.
Ooh. So that. So I'm taking 3 off my toughness.
And and 3 off strong.
Ouch.
Ooh.
And TPK.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to let the other players have a turn, but there is something I want to narrate about the move you just did when that's done. So I imagine he's on a bed, so you would have lunged to kind of interpose yourself, and thereby basically be laying next to him on the bed, even if you're kind of half off of it. But Shiny, it is your turn now.
I'm just trying to think about what I would do. Probably would I grab like a blanket? Is it possible to grab a blanket and try to like swing it at the Frostlights and capture them sort of like in a net?
You may try it. I will call that an attack. I'm going to say actually, let's call that your accurate modified by their quick, which is -3.
So I rolled a 1, and my accurate is.
If you rolled a 1, I mean, you got it. None of your abilities are lower than 5. So, you got it for sure. Now, how to determine how many of them you got in there? There are 5 of them. You know what? Let's just do 5 rolls. That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay. So.
No,
second roll.
There's a better way to do it, and it is graded success. So your accurate is 10, modified by 3, it's 7. You beat it by more than 5, so you got all 5 of them. They're in your blanket net.
All right, I have a blanket of cold lights.
Yeah.
They're very shiny. I like them.
They're moving around in there. They're zipping like crazy.
Can I stomp them with my feet?
I'm going to say you are out of actions for the turn.
Okay.
You have a movement left, but I don't believe a movement will allow you to stomp them.
Okay, so I just hold them out with my arm in the blanket, like folded up.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably had quite a challenge to get it closed up so they couldn't get back out. Corona, it is your turn.
Seeing Malthea take a hit and visibly be wounded, I will step forward to try and administer some health to alleviate the wound.
Okay. What do you do for that? You're going to use your...
It's a cunning roll to heal 1d4.
Okay.
Versus toughness for 1d6. But
okay.
Yeah, try the cunning.
It's 1d6 if you're using an herbal cure, right? I would say in combat you don't have time to make one.
Yeah, I'm just doing a laying of hands. So that was a success. I rolled a 7.
Okay.
And then a d4 of all of 1.
All right. Malthea gets 1 toughness back. I actually don't think I ever read the rule on when a damaged stat recovers. I would assume it's at the end of a scene. So I think you'll get your strong back at the end of a scene, but we'll see about that.
No worries. No worries.
Cool. So that's your turn, Corona. Malthea, as we go back to the top of the round, you realize that your back facing Segel is pressed up against this blanket bundle that he had been clutching to his chest. And there is something inside of it that is hard, like a rock.
I mean, how is Segel looking?
He is being damaged by these frost lights, or he was being damaged by the frost lights. He is not dead. He is still in better shape than the other 2 guys.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask him, what have you got there? What's in that bundle?
He does not immediately answer.
I will grab for the bundle to try and look at it.
He doesn't resist. He was caught off guard by your question, but he's not fighting particularly hard to keep you out of his bundle. It is a large, uncut ruby that spills out when you grab at the blanket. It's about the size of a heart, and it is beating like one with an internal warmth of its own. And as you stand there looking at it, there is a new, renewed chill in the air. The frost lights in the blanket there, Shiny, they stop fighting. The fog, which you can see through the windows and which has even seeped into the tower, starts to clear up because it is crystallizing into ice as it gets even colder.
Where did you get this?
From the ruins.
What ruins? Which ruins?
Yes. And then a creature enters the courtyard. She is a spirit walking through the world, freezing everything around her as though she is sucking up all of the warmth. She passes straight through the wall of the tower and into the room with you. And Corona, one more time, please. This time, modified +3 because you're looking right at her. Give me a cunning check.
Stole the Ice Queen's heart.
So this means that instead of 11, you're rolling against 14.
And I rolled a 14 on the dice.
Okay.
Oh.
The clans of barbarians in this region have a superstition called Winter's Wife. She's a mythical being, a story told amongst all the different peoples around here, a powerful spirit. In some versions you've heard she's a deceased queen of legend. Sometimes she's just a manifestation of a forest spirit. And she is associated with the spirits of the unborn. Sometimes you hear that she's like a tragic figure, like a nurse who wishes to be nurse to dead children to give them the warmth that they crave. In other stories, she's like a dark and malicious spirit driven by spite and jealousy towards expecting mothers who have what she could never have. But what's always recurring in every version of it is this aspect of ice, mist, and frost. And this is linked to a widespread barbarian superstition that unexpected frost is an omen or a sign of stillbirth. Seeing the fog roll in and then turn to frost as this spirit woman enters the courtyard, this is what comes to your mind.
Yes, the Winter's Wife. This is a bad omen, a sign of death. I'm not sure what to do. We may not survive. So I turn to her and I will speak to her directly. It's like, "Oh, great spirit of the forest, of my ancestral legends, why are you here?"
Let me look at your sheet for a moment, Corona. You can see in the eyes of this spirit that she is quite mad with corruption. In order to successfully communicate with her, I will need a cunning check. And it will suffer -7.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
Do you have any corruption?
Not at the moment.
Okay, then it is -7. So you're rolling against what? 3? 4. You're rolling against 4.
And it rolls an 8.
Okay. So she does not understand your words. In fact, she completely ignores you as she too heads towards the ruby that has spilled out of Segal's bundle. You see her reach for it, but her hand passes right through it. Let me ask you this, actually. I know that I've kind of already said that she's going to reach for it, but Meldia, were you holding the ruby, or did you just let it spill out onto the bed?
I'm holding it.
Okay, so she attempts to touch it, but she cannot. And as her fingers sort of pass through you can feel the deathly cold sort of seep into your body. She's not attacking you, it's just the way she is.
Yeah.
She looks up at your face as you're holding this thing that she cannot interact with, and she points to you and points outside and screams this unearthly shriek.
Yeah, we were getting there. Well, my companions, I think we need to take this heart back to where it belongs.
But it's so pretty.
It is pretty, and with any luck, there will be even prettier things there that don't bring death upon us.
Yes, the harbinger of doom must be taken back to its resting place.
Oh, fine.
Winter's wife turns her head slightly and looks over at you, Shiny. Sort of side-eyes you and looks down at the blanket in your hand.
I just drop it.
The frost lights spill out of the blanket and hover around her.
I'm like, can I keep one? They're very nice and blue.
She ignores you and moves out of the room. So you guys are going out?
Yeah, we should try and. Well, I want to interrogate Smeghead. I don't remember his name.
Segel.
Yeah, and try and get a more accurate and clear idea of how to get to these ruins where they retrieved this ruby from.
I can show you. If you think this ruby is what has caused our illness, I can show you how to get there. And he sort of starts to struggle to his feet.
I mean, I'm not strong, but I'm gonna put like a hand on his chest and kind of try and push him back down onto his bed. Like you
succeed.
Yeah, you're not well, sir.
Well, it's hard to describe how to get there. If the ruby needs to go back, I have to show you.
No, you need to tell me.
Maybe Shiny can carry him.
No.
Shiny?
He looks kind of vomitous.
He tells you.
It smells.
He tells you a story, which I'll just summarize in brief. Basically, they found these ruins. They were planning to build this wall to, help fortify their watchtower. And when they discovered that some of the stones were warm, they thought, "Hey, awesome! This will help keep us warm in the winter, as well. What a great thing to build a wall out of." And so they began sort of dismantling this ancient ruin and bringing stones from it to their tower. In the process of that, they found this giant ruby down inside where they found it, it was on top of the ruin, inside of a bowl, frozen over with water. And he broke it out and brought it back, thinking that it would be worth money.
Yep, that'll fit.
It's like,
I've seen enough
why
movies
would
to
you
know
do
how
this?
this goes.
yeah, like, you should know better.
Why should I have known better?
Corona. The greed of humans is boundless.
Yes, these soldiers again, and as much as I wish to help you, and you're invading our lands, destroying ancient sites, stealing from the past. This ruby must be returned to its place.
But nobody was using it.
As you guys stand in here,
we will agree to disagree on that.
As you guys stand in here having these discussions, the wife of Winter sticks her head back through the wall and screams at you again with a blood-curdling cry. You actually, your clothes and hair begin to frost up from the scream.
I think she wants us to hurry.
You must move quickly.
Let's get a hustle.
Okay, are you going to bring Segel?
I say we could just follow the white lady.
Yeah.
Fair enough. She does, in fact, seem willing to lead you once you get outside. The cold is intense. It is bitter, biting down to your very bones as you follow this horrid apparition through the dark and misty forest. However, as I said, wherever you go, being this close to her, the mist clears up because she emanates such cold that it freezes and falls out of the air. So your boots are crunching not only from the leaves and foliage upon the ground, but also from the ice that forms in her wake as you follow her. This goes on for about an hour before you find yourselves at a ruin. It's a crumbled temple sitting atop a hill, and you can just barely see this ruin on the hill before you sort of get blocked out by trees again through the forest. You start passing by some odd marks upon the trees. There are glyphs and runes carved into the bark. There are strange garlands hung up between different trees. Corona, I'd like a cunning check, please. Oh, you know what? I retract that. This says someone with the witchcraft tradition recognizes them immediately, so you don't need to roll.
Before she checks that, Meldia would like to ask, Corona, do you know any of this means?
These things that you are seeing are taboo marks. They are intertwined with the markings of an enormous witch circle ritual space. This thing encompasses the entire hill. If you study it for a moment at Meldia's request, you can see that this circle was meant to mask this area from detection, but that it is deteriorated with age and lost its magic. But you are crossing the border of the perimeter of an enormous taboo witchcraft ritual circle that encompassed the entire hill.
Tread lightly. This space was protected by an ancient magic.
The wife of Winter passes through the forbiddance and continues to lead you up the hill. She kind of dissipates once the ruin is in view, and you guys are able to trudge up. Now that you know where to go, she doesn't waste her energy leading you anymore. At the top of the hill, sort of surrounded by a scattering of wild trees, you see the ruin. There's not much left but the foundation and a few rocks marking walls. Most of it has been consumed by nature, with trees growing inside the chapel. At the center of the ruin, there's a pedestal with a heavy stone bowl. It contains frozen water, which someone has chiseled into. This is most likely what Segel described having taken the heart from.
Yeah, I mean, my inclination is to just literally walk up and try and place the heart back in that bowl.
Well, Winter's wife appears before you can approach the bowl too closely, and actually points to a chamber underneath the temple, which you can go downstairs and reach. Looking in there down the stairs, you see a body, a desiccated husk of a female body, bound in chains on what looks like an altar. There are alcoves all around the walls of the chamber containing ancient jars. And Winter's wife is pointing down the stairs to that body and looking at you, Meldia.
I'm go- I'm going to start complying with what she's asking. Start moving down into that alcove. As I do, and honestly, as we were like walking up this hill, Corona, do you think you could repair this witch circle?
You think you could if you had... I think you're muted there, Mia.
A day's worth of work, correct?
Yeah. I was going to say, if you had 500 helpers who were all experienced mystics and a year in which to do it, you could maybe repair the circle.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. Come here. Help me.
That's a no, Meltia. Not without my entire tribe and every witch from every tribe across the barbarian lands.
Yeah, this is a wonder of the ancient witch world, is what you have found.
I'm in awe of their work.
Yeah.
Studying it as I go to try and learn anything as from what I see.
Shine's like, what happened here? Why did it fall?
It's just so old.
Yeah, so I'm walking down these stairs, I guess.
All right.
They were stairs, right?
Yeah. So there's this corpse that I described. It's too desiccated to tell for sure, but based on how adamant she is that you place this ruby upon the body, you're guessing that this is her body.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's be stupid. I'll place the ruby on the desiccated body.
You do so, and her body jerks to life. Her eyes fly open.
Worst that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've discovered a plot hole in this adventure write-up. She's still chained up.
Oh. Well, she could break those chains. I mean,
yeah,
they're probably
she absolutely
not rusty and weakened over ages. Yeah.
She absolutely breaks the chains, and she grabs the ruby and shoves it into her chest, where it begins to glow and beat.
It was her heart!
As her heart, fueling her new blighted form, she is restored to physical unlife and stands to her feet. Wow. All right, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take our break here as she gets up.
Does she rise slowly from her laid down position as we fade to black for the commercial break?
Yeah.
I think she should have broken a couple of bones as she was breaking her chains off.
She may have, but she's undead, so who knows? All right, guys. Great work so far. You've managed to solve the mystery of what the hell that thing is. And more or less.
We managed to solve the mystery of where do we put this red ruby heart thing?
Yeah. So let's be back in 10 minutes. I think we're, depending on the choices you make in the second half, we're on track to end quite early. But let's see how it goes. I didn't mean that to be as ominous as it sounded. But yeah, I'll see everyone in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. We have awoken the wife of winter by placing the heart upon her. She has broken her chains and stood up from her altar. Her body, which was desiccated and rotten, is starting to fill out again as black, dark blood begins to flow from the heart and through her veins. She doesn't exactly look normal, but she looks moister. And
Not that word.
It's all the fog.
she looks at you, Meldea, and her face breaks into a hideous, broke-toothed grin.
Ooh.
And then she turns to leave. Many of the blue light creatures that were following her, more of them converge. Some come out of the jars that are in the alcoves around this room, and they sort of swarm around her as she starts walking up out of this tomb.
Yeah. Vengeful spirit made whole. Undead. What do we do, y'all?
I mean, she seems happier.
She
Yeah,
is halfway up the steps.
She has a pretty heart. She has a good heart. I'm sure I'll be fine.
She is 3/4 of the way up the steps.
Can I rush to like catch up to her and try and question her?
You may. You can rush and catch her. Are you going to touch her?
No.
Okay, what will you say when you reach her?
Like, why were you left here chained? Why were you tortured and killed?
She, without even looking your direction, responds with,
An ancient dialect I cannot understand.
roll cunning.
10 on the dice.
Great.
That's a success.
So you know the story of Winter's wife and that she craves warmth constantly. You also know from your experience earlier today that there were stones that generate warmth here at the temple, which were stolen by the soldiers. It is perhaps a decent guess that she was imprisoned here to keep her away from others. That she was given what she wants, these stones that generate warmth constantly, and then kept here to appease her.
Okay, so I would relay back the others. I'm sure she'll be seeking to retrieve the stolen stones from this temple.
You know, but they might not understand her back at the tower. Maybe we should go with her so we can explain to the people at the tower that she just wants her warm stones back.
She is not heading in the direction of the tower.
Oh. Yay.
She is heading
Where's
deeper
it?
into Davokar Forest.
Oh, well, we're good. We're fine. This is fine. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
If she seeks warmth outside this temple, I gotta reach over and touch Medea's like, you feel warm yourself. She may seek to take the life from others to fill her hunger.
Yeah, but she's going deeper into the woods. That's away from people.
Corona, this would be your opportunity to recognize that it's away from some people.
Yes, that's definitely true for you city dwellers. My tribes, the barbarians, we are scattered, many of us, throughout the woods. Our numbers are uncountable.
That's not good. Well, maybe we should we stop her?
Well,
Can we stop her?
I mean,
I'm asking Corona. Do you think we can stop her?
We could certainly try. Maybe we could like hack that ruby out from inside her again.
Well, I did fall in love with her heart. I kind of want it.
Whatever we do, her spirit will still wander the lands, but
She is disappearing down the hill to the north.
I guess we're like talking at the same time as we're following her.
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
mean, like she can she's learned our tongue. She can understand us.
You have no indication of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, when she spoke to me, I did not understand her dialect. It's a lost tongue to my people.
Are you guys going to attack her, or are you going to let her go?
What if she leads us to treasure, you guys? We could just keep following her.
It is still awfully cold out here.
Yeah. Why?
Remember, I'll tell you this maybe to help you make up your minds. She's clearly a threat, and she's heading off out into the world, having been released from her prison. That's
Yes.
true. On the other hand, you were hired to do a job, and it has nothing to do with this ghost demon woman.
It doesn't.
You were hired to save the soldiers at the watchtower from their illness.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that their illness is tied to this woman somehow.
Well, they're not unrelated.
In a mystical sort of sense.
They're not unrelated.
But without the heart, then they won't be suffering from the frostlight stealing their warmth anymore, hopefully, right?
Well, the frostlights, they had not seen the frostlights prior to your visit.
Oh. It was probably just the heart. But I don't know that.
You don't know that. But you do know that your job is to help those men.
What do you both think?
If they are afflicted by the winter wife's spell or magic, we should probably stop her. If not, I should at least send message to my people, warn them that that she is coming.
I'm going to throw a rock at her.
A big rock at that, right?
Okay, roll it.
I rolled an 18.
Okay, you missed. She doesn't even stop. That with an 18, that's just so ridiculously far away from where she is. She doesn't even realize you threw it at her.
I didn't really want to hit her. I just kind of wanted to get her attention.
Well, I would risk using entangling vine to try and slow her down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read how this works. You got to do a resolute test.
Yes.
Yeah, that was your poopy butt.
And then it's a contested roll after that to hold
Right.
resolute versus strong.
Yeah. So, did you pass your resolute test?
I did not.
So, yeah, you cast this spell, these entangling vines. They spring up from the ground all around her, but they just freeze and snap as soon as they get near her her horribly cold form.
Guys,
And
I don't think we can kill her.
she
She's running
does,
away with my shiny too.
she
But
does
still-
stop and turn to look at you, Corona. And then slowly turns and continues walking away.
I have one more trick up my sleeve, so we'll wait.
Before you take that trick, let's see if I can talk to her. I point my sword at her. Lady, if you would stop.
You say you
She's-
point your sword at her. You were following behind.
Yeah.
Have you? So you're still behind her doing this?
Yeah.
She doesn't answer you. She doesn't even look back when you call. All indications are that she doesn't know your language.
Yeah. I figured that. But
Yeah. So unless you are going to run in front of her and make it obvious that you're physically trying to make her stop, she doesn't know what you've said.
no, I was curious if that was part of that test.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. How do you both feel about going big?
I get her heart.
I
Big is
suppose there's zero chance of surprise here, so
Yeah, no.
roll initiative. Wait,
Done.
we don't do that.
We don't. I go last.
You go last. Winter's wife is 11. Remind me of yours. She's tying with Meldea. So it'll be. I'll let Meldea go first, then Winter's wife, then the Frostlights, then Shiny, then Corona.
Fuck. All right, let's get dead. Am I able to like run up ahead of her and get her, like point my sword at her to get her to stop?
Yes, you can use your movement to get ahead of her. You guys indicated to me that you were following fairly closely, so
Yeah.
since she's just walking, it shouldn't be hard for you to do that.
Just if. Yeah, fuck it. I attack. Fuck this.
Okay.
I mean, we
No
don't
hemming
have
and hawing.
to.
Go big or go home.
Sorry, Yuri, what
So
you say?
yeah,
I said we don't have to attack. We could just walk away.
no, I feel like that's a bad idea.
But
I
it's
got
someone
a
else's
feeling in my
problem.
gut that that's a bad idea. So I'm gonna take a swing at her.
Okay. Started the day doing everything she said. Now you're trying to kill her. Got it.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. So I'm rolling accurate.
Yeah. Versus. What do you roll against? It's just a regular attack. Modified by her. Quick, is it? I gotta look it up. What happened to the character? Here we go.
Accurate versus defense.
There we go.
Ability.
Oh, Steve, is her vigilant higher than 10?
One moment. Her vigilant is much higher than 10.
Then she goes first.
Oh, that's right. That's how you resolve that. Yeah. That didn't work with the Frostlights because they tied you as well, so I just decided that you go first. So let's see. So she is going to go first. Let me see. I just feel like I should know this and I have forgotten it. Like, what do you roll against when you just make a basic physical attack?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Attack action, page 158 that we're looking for.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
An
Yeah,
ordinary
it's
attack
accurate.
using.
Accurate defense. So,
But that's the creature attacking you.
no, it's saying the movement with action.
Yeah, accurate modified by defense. Okay. So defense is -1. So it's it's -1 to your accurate as you roll against your own accurate.
Okay. Yeah, I hit. I got a 2 out of 14.
Okay. I'd better start tracking the health here. Opening up apps by accident.
Just I'm checking some stuff real quick.
Okay.
I got.
Yeah, let me know the damage.
Yeah, I want to check, and I think I'm just going to get to roll 1 die, but I might be able to roll 2. Yes. So with my twin attack, I can make 2 attacks against the same target.
Okay, do that.
Okay, so I got the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one misses.
Okay.
So the first attack is 6 damage.
Oof. All right. Six damage it is. Okay. Yeah, so since that was your turn, we'll have her go at the start of the next initiative since you attacked first, but her initiative is going to be higher than yours. And then the frost lights are going to go right for you.
Yep.
There are 12 of them here. I'm going to say 3 of them go for you at this time. How does their attack work? Let's see. Touch
That's
death,
they're
3.
They're like -3 to my defense.
Yep. And it ignores armor and does 3 damage.
So first one. Nope. Ooh, and ow. Second one. No. And third one. Okay, I'm dead.
You are dying.
Okay. Well, give me a sec.
Those all hit your strong as well.
No, I know. That's the thing I'm checking right now.
Okay, well, you check that. I'll move on to shiny.
Okay, so if the attribute reaches 0, the victim's soul or life force is devoured by the attacker and the victim dies.
Cool. Yeah, your
I
body
just died.
your body freezes up so fast as these frost lights absorb all the heat in your mortal form.
You were
Not
brave
scary at all.
warrior.
Your
What
frozen
foolish.
your frozen corpse is then invaded by one of the frost lights.
Oh
And
no.
as your eyes freeze over, your body begins to stand back up.
Oh dear.
Shiny, your turn.
Is
You're
it
welcome.
too late to run away?
Never.
All right. I'm going to take a swing at my dear Ruby Heart.
Okay.
Let's see. I rolled a 4. And that is my strong, right?
Yeah, you roll strong because of a thing that you have, right? It's yeah, because your Iron Fist ability, you roll strong instead of accurate when you make an attack.
Okay, so that is my strong is 15. I rolled a 4. Sorry, I'm not quite sure how the mechanics still work. So
You want to roll under, so rolling 4 against 15 is very good.
okay, so then it probably hits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's modified by her defensive -1, but that's nothing. So yeah, your damage because of your two-handed ability is going to be 1d12.
Nice.
Okay. 12. And I rolled a 12.
Really?
I did.
Slap.
Oh, do I get her heart?
You called out at the start of this attack that you were aiming for the heart.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, do I shatter her heart? She died of a broken heart, doesn't she?
Yeah, you're gonna break her heart.
You know, that's me, heartbreaker.
You do, in fact, shatter the heart. And her physical form crumbles to dust, standing there on her feet. Meldia's body shambles off into the woods, covered in hoarfrost, surrounded by frostlights. And you see the spirit form of Winter's wife that you, in the form that you first met her, sort of rise up out of the body, but then also kind of like dissipate into nothingness and just turn into the freezing fog. And Shiny and Corona, you are left standing in this frozen patch of forest over the desiccated corpse of a centuries dead woman, watching your undead companion shuffle off into the nighted woods.
No. I stop him.
Yeah,
In
see,
what
I can't.
manner? You know what?
I
It's not your turn. It's Corona's turn.
Wait, let me stop him. He has the note. 25 gold on it.
You.
Shiny shouts out, the note, the note. So I'm like, gracious. So I will try and stop him with my entangling vines from a distance.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Jason.
All right. So it's a resolute test.
Yeah,
Oh,
do
I
it.
roll a 2. I rolled a 2 on a 13. So
Okay,
Nice.
he is stopped momentarily. I'm gonna fast forward this. I'll say that's plenty of time for either of you to run up and yank his bag off of his dead body. And
Well, I will point out that I explicitly stated that I was putting it like inside my tunic.
well, they saw it, so
Yeah.
that being the case, if one of you wants to make, I guess I'm gonna call this opposed strong rolls, and I will let.
I rolled a 6. I grabbed the note, right?
Yeah, you do, yeah, because he's now GM controlled, so you're rolling against a static number. Yeah, you got it.
And is there anything left of the broken heart?
I mean, there's shards all over the ground, but they have lost their heat.
Oh, but are they still shiny?
Not really. I mean, it was an uncut ruby. I don't know if you've seen uncut gems. They're not exactly shiny.
Yes, but they have the potential to be shiny.
Yeah. I mean, it's broken now, so there are facets on it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I pick up what the biggest shards and stick them in my pouch.
Okay. Man, your video's so delayed. I'm watching you mouth things like several seconds after you say them.
I know, time lapse.
Yeah. All right. You have some shards, and you have the script, and you're out in the middle of the frozen woods. Meldia's body resumes walking the hell away. Yeah. Probably off to join their true kin, the mysterious elves of the woodlands.
You were such a good bodyguard.
Were
I
they?
tried.
Sorry
I
about
tried.
the, I was gonna try and turn her into a bunny, but yeah, she got to you first.
All right, what are you two gonna do now?
We gotta turn in our note.
Yeah, let's go get our gold.
You can't.
I will gather up, kind of like since the spells broke, I'm gonna like take some of the various magical artifacts that were about to add to my collection.
I'll remind you, the note is worthless until it is stamped by another member of the guard, certifying your completion of the assigned task.
So I guess we go back to the tower afterwards. I mean, is there a sequel or?
Is there a sequel? You're not done with this one. You get back to the tower, and yeah, the fog has rolled away from the tower. It's still pretty cold. The guys inside are still sick. Pallas the Sleepless comes down from the tower roof to let you in. She says, "Where is Meldia?"
Frostbite.
Are they dead?
Yes, quite dead. And I jiggle the shards of my broken heart. I said, the witch is defeated. She fell for my two-handed axe.
This is good news, I'm sure. But
Yes.
our companions are still ill in the extreme.
I will do what I can.
I would like each of you to make a cunning check, please. Except you, Meldia.
I made my check.
I rolled an 8.
I got a 6 on an 11, so yeah, that's a success.
Okay.
Okay, because of your Medicus ability and that very decent roll, Corona, I will point out to you that the big ruby was not the only thing that they took from those ruins. Nor was it the only thing here that is generating heat of its own accord.
Oh my goodness, the disease is coming from the bodies themselves.
The stones of the wall.
Yeah, I can say the stones are cursed.
Yeah.
Like Princess, what wasn't her name, was it?
Her name is Pallas.
Palace. It's like the Princess Palace. We must remove these stones from this area. They are feeding the sickness that grows within your men.
Her name actually is more like the pall of death. It's Pallas. Paulus.
Paulus.
Yeah.
Paulus.
Yeah. So, are you guys going to help them do that?
No.
We have to haul them. As I said, do we have to haul them all the way back to the temple, or just get them out of here?
I mean, the temple's an hour away, but I mean, if you just want to get them away from the watchtower so that they're not by these guys.
Yeah, just move the heated stones away from your tower.
Fine, but I'm charging you double time. And I assume there's like a cart we could load up the cart.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a cart here that they were using to bring the stones back with their horses. So yeah, over the course of, I mean, if you're only moving these things just like 100 yards away or whatever, over the course of a day, maybe a day and a half, you're able to clear out all of these warm stones away from the tower. And with Corona's ministrations of healing herbs and teas, within a day, you already see that these 3 soldiers are on the mend. You get your slip stamped by Segel, who sends you on your way off to your next mission. And at the town when you arrive, what's that town called? Jakar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you arrive at Jakar, you are greeted warmly and with thanks by the Imperial officer who listens to your tale of what you've done, and who then informs you that the stamps that were used on your script are outdated as of last week, and that you therefore are not entitled to any coin from the Imperial Army. But if indeed your nonsensical tale has any truth to it, then he does thank you for your aid. Congratulations, guys.
What?
You
Can
have...
I like pull my shirt collars and shake it?
You're just shaking this guy. Shiny gets arrested.
I try and remind them that it was a barbarian witch that saved the lives of these soldiers and to please respect the barbarian homelands.
They don't care.
They don't give a flying.
All
fuck.
over the city.
Imperial scumbags.
All over the city, barbarian tribesmen are working slave labor jobs.
We shall be free.
These are not good people.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been making notes on my journeys where all the guard towers are, taking numbers, secretly tying notes to birds to fly back to my tribes.
You see Corona gluing a ruby back together. All right, guys. Yeah,
Oh.
that's about it. I'll be honest with you. You had just about reached the end of the written material at the break. Yeah, I mean, Winter's wife was not predisposed to attack you because you hadn't harmed any of her children.
Yeah.
And you had helped bring her back to life. She's not nice, but you guys didn't do anything to her, so she was just gonna leave. And as written in the adventure, it's kind of up to GM Fiat what it means that she's free. And, my interpretation is she's just off to kill babies some more. But yeah, the real mission was to save those guys, and they just had some uranium stones in their wall or whatever. So they're just getting radiation poisoning, and you guys are like, let's kill the witch. But
I got caught up in the
no, it's absolutely, and I obviously was pushing you towards that to kind of draw it out a little bit, because I was like, she's walking out,
No, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great. Just okay, yeah, I'm so, oh no, you're just down. You're not dead. No, wait a minute. I read this earlier. No, I'm dead.
Yeah, you're dead.
I'm legit dead.
You could sport Jason to admit that, like, shush. You could survive with 1 hit point. We'll drag you back to camp.
I was actually.
I didn't have 1 hit point. I had dropped down to -2 strength.
Yeah.
You're deader than dead.
I was actually rooting for you guys to leave her be and go back to the tower, save those guys, get your money, and then live out the rest of your lives knowing why the Winter's wife was just suddenly way more dangerous than she had ever been.
See, I would have let her go, but she had a really good heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. That's true.
And I was afraid she would, start killing tribesmen. So
What she would do. I mean, she is the kind of mythical being that gets blamed for it anytime anyone dies of the cold or anytime there's a stillbirth. But with her actually free, it would have turned up to 11. Yeah.
I felt kind of bad about that. Like I kind of revived her just as like, okay, let's do this. Sure. What's the worst thing that could happen? And then, that was kind of a terrible idea. Why did I do that?
Here's
Let's
another
try to
fun thing about
rectify
this.
my mistake.
Another fun thing about this adventure, and I love the situation it sort of sets up, but it actually doesn't spell out another option for what to do with the ruby. You can either destroy it without giving it back to her, or you can do what she says. To me, it seemed obvious that the third option was to put the ruby back in that bowl where Sego got it out of. Yeah. Had you done that, I would have played it that you had restored her prison and she had to go back. But you chose not to do it that way.
I chose the stupid option.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. She could have been falsely imprisoned.
Yeah, but
Yeah, she wasn't.
even if she was at that point, like, or at this point, like, it's, it's horrible, but do we want to release this horrible thing on the world?
I don't really care either way. Like, the ogre, I just like shiny things, so.
She did have some shiny kids. Yeah. I think, maybe first half this probably wasn't my best work. I thought I did a lot more reading when I should have let you guys do some discovering. But what did you guys think of the system?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
I still don't get it, to be honest.
I really like the setting a lot. I think the system is one of those it's simple in and of itself, but takes some getting used to.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty basic stat ability trad system. It's not terrible. I think the setting is interesting. I just wish it was a little. I would like more. I think I would enjoy it more with more time at it.
Yeah, I think
some more time to just kind of fart around in the setting, to kind of go, oh well, let's find a thing to do and let's go do that.
Yeah, it feels like I would really enjoy this system or this game in a longer campaign. Yeah. But at the same time, of the mini games that we play, this is not top 10 of ones that I would want to do a campaign in. Just because it didn't grab me as much as I hoped it would. But
that happens.
Yeah, the art is awesome. I don't regret buying the hard copy.
The art's incredible.
The art is really cool. Honestly, I wouldn't mind playing in a game of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
It's just nice. And I think I get most of the system okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I really wanted to learn it, I would need to buy a hard copy of the book. Because trying to learn the PDF was just a lot of where is this information?
Yeah.
When I was able to go, oh hey, this is here. That's because that took me a while of going, how many stupid abilities do I get? Where is this?
Yep.
And finding it and going, oh, this is where this information is. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I do like
half paragraph in the middle of a page.
I do like the rolling under your own ability score mechanic, because it eliminates having to look up or even having to set a difficulty check. The difficulty is always your own score.
Well, it's
sometimes
kind of
modified, but
Modifius's system in that.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not the same, but it's similar.
Right, but even Modifius' system
Yeah,
is
that's it.
more complicated because it's
Oh,
2d20. Yeah.
No, it's and I like this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah. It's a very I think it's a
Like,
very
it's-
basic system. We obviously there were things we didn't know, but
Yeah.
compared to more complicated systems like D&D or Pathfinder, the things we didn't know were few. I
Yeah,
felt.
yeah.
It's
And
for
I
a
mean,
game we just learned.
Yeah, and I mean, doing the one shot, it doesn't feel as bad going, oh, I just really stepped in it.
Yeah. I don't
Because I
mind.
actually kind of like this character, but that was a really stupid move to make. So, it's on me.
I
Lots
mean,
of
yeah,
one-shots are for,
realistically,
okay.
yeah, it was. I tried everything in my power without railroading to suggest to you
Yeah.
that you really don't have to fight her right now. But oh well.
I just wasn't I think part of me attacking her was like trying to not game the scenario, but try to figure out what the scenario wanted me to do and not being quite on the same page as it.
I would say there wasn't a correct answer to that. Like, what did the scenario want you to do?
And
This-
that might be what was something that was throwing me off is
Yeah.
there's times where you can be in a scenario and go, oh, I get what I want to do here, and this was open enough that it was like, ugh, I could do this, I could do this, I could let her go, I could try and stop her,
Yeah, I
I'm
actually
not sure
really
which I should do, and yeah, it was kind of a coin flip, and so it goes.
I actually really
Corona
like
was
that
very-
about the way this one's written because it really does just set up a situation, and not only are there multiple possible outcomes based on player choices, but what the results of those choices are also left open to GM decisions. So you can free her, you can imprison her, you can destroy her, but what happens when you do those things is well, here's some suggestions. Maybe if you destroy her spirit form, it means she's gone, or maybe it means she's free to wreak havoc elsewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't give any hard answers to that. It just kind of wants to see what you'll do.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, Corona was very intent on stopping her because she was heading in the direction of.
Which makes sense for Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had played a different character, like say a human priest or something, or a barbarian, I probably would have been the same. We got to stop her. But as an ogre treasure hunter, I'm just in it for the money, really.
Just want that heart.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, I have fun reading about this setting. I really liked reading about it. I think the game, like we said, might take more than a one shot to get into the game itself. It's interesting to me, as they sort of put it in the core rulebook, that they chose to be in such a narrowly defined time and place. I think so that they could go deep rather than broad with the lore. And that's an interesting choice, which I can't think of another game that I've seen that decision in. But it kind of necessitates the players also going deep with the lore in order to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's explicitly that is where not necessarily an extended multi-year campaign, but just a little more time with it so you can kind of spin your wheels a bit. Hopefully your players will read a little more of the background stuff.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad that I read almost none of it.
I thought it was pretty interesting. I was like, oh, the Scarred Queen? We don't even really know if that's the queen or not.
Yeah.
I could see this being very political and faction based.
That actually didn't even occur to me. We don't know if that's the queen or not. She came back with a mask on.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm tired. Let's go to bed.
All right.
Thank
All
you
right.
for
Okay.
Thanks all for
playing.
having.
To our viewers, this was our last game of the year. We will resume in January. We've got quite a list of games that got canceled this year that we're going to try and schedule next year, and even more games that were never on the schedule in the first place that we're going to check out. So we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. Hit the YouTube channel. Press the subscribe button. Follow us on Twitch. We appreciate you. Join the Discord. Tell us what we should play.
Steve,
Adios.
is there gonna be more Arconia this week?
No, we are done with this whole
okay.
channel until January.
All right. All righty.
All right. See you guys next year.
Next year.
All right.